The Cars universe is reaching new heights as it expands in the prehistoric and post-apocalyptic worlds. The new concept art for the Cars on the Road series shows fan favorite characters Lightning McQueen and Mater in scenes titled Dinopark, Bigfoot and Road Warriors. This is new information I did not have in my initial breakdown of the concept art images that I did a week or so ago, and I'll leave the link to that in the description below and card suggestion pop up. These are major developments, so I highly recommend you check out that video just to acquaint yourself with all the stuff that's going on with this new Cars series coming to Disney Plus next year. But anyway, I want to thank Pixar Posts for posting and discovering that when you actually download the pictures off of the article that released them in conjunction with the Pixar Disney Plus Day reveal video on Disney Plus, they are literally titled as such: Dinopark, Bigfoot, and Road Warriors. That's kind of revealing, that kind of sheds some light on this stuff. And so in today's video, we're going to focus in on the Road Warriors concept art image, as in my opinion, there's the most to say about it, there's the most to speculate upon and break down, and I'm really excited to get into it because, like I said, there's a lot, and I have a massive theory for you guys, one that I am very confident in. I have a lot of support for it, and I really want to share it with you guys. I want to hear what you guys think, so stay tuned for that. And then there's a ton of other stuff in this video that we have to break down as well, but I also don't want to undermine the other two, Dinopark and Bigfoot, as I will also do videos on them as well. And it's really not just because this one has the most characters in frame, like I really think that's irrelevant, but the main thing here that this video is going to focus on, at least at the beginning, is that this image clearly takes influence and inspiration from the Mad Max movies. I want to take this video to really outline these references and predict how this scene may translate into the actual series. So if you haven't seen any of the Mad Max movies, there are 3 older ones with Mel Gibson from the 70s and 80s, then there's one new one with Tom Hardy and Charlize Theron, and then they're making 2 more. One's like a prequel, the other one's a sequel in the mid-2020s. But don't worry if you haven't seen them or you don't intend to see them. Like, they really are not like the Cars movies. Like, they're not an animation. Like, they are pretty violent. So don't worry, like, I'm going to explain all the crossover potential. I've done my research. I just watched Fury Road, so I am ready to go. And really excited to talk about the Easter eggs, references, all that good stuff between this concept art image and the movies. I mean, you wouldn't think so. It's very unassuming, but trust me, there's a lot. So what you're looking at right now, though, probably has you a little giddy because it is indeed an animated render of the concept art. And this was done by a good friend of mine, Ayushman. Jaswal. I hope I pronounced that right. I practiced it a few times, so hopefully I did, but it goes without saying that this is a beautiful, ethereal work, and it blows me away. I had to show it off in the video, so thanks to him for allowing me to use his art, and I will be showing more of his work in the future, so stay tuned for that. And obviously, I mean, McQueen just looks perfect in terms of a finished animation, and then the metallic purplish pink Volkswagen bugs are just incredible. I don't know how he made those look so real. I also kind of like how he changed the Queen into like a Big D style car. Remember, Big D was the villain from Mater Private Eye. But anyways, we're going to talk about her a little later as well. First of all, though, I think it's appropriate to give a basic synopsis of the Mad Max movies, especially Fury Road, in which I believe the art mostly correlates to. Essentially, they're post-apocalyptic movies that take place in the Australian outback after an oil crisis. The world's in ruins and everyone is using the broken pieces of the world to essentially build an empire in a very savage, cruel, violent way. But anyways, these broken pieces happen to be the cars, and honestly, whatever else is laying around, they're putting on their cars, and that is clear from the pictures I'm showing from the movies and the cars concept art. The cars just look wild. So many attachments, weapons, added protection, decorations, and it really emphasizes the ridiculousness of it all, but that's just what makes it fun too. And these vehicles are their main weapons in battle, so if you don't have a car, you are kind of screwed because every single battle is a road skirmish, and that leads me into my next point here, in which Fury Road is a road trip. the entire movie is on the road, and every like fight scene, every action scene is while they're driving, like at least like 45 miles an hour. Like, it is wild to me, and it's ironic because the Cars series is clearly on the road. I mean, I just think that's really cool. I mean, this movie literally is a road trip, and so is Mad Max Fury Road. Something to think about. Now, the first and foremost Easter egg, in my opinion, is that the second Mad Max movie is literally titled The Road Warrior. This is the one with Mel Gibson from like the 80s. And then in Mad Max Fury Road, that's the new one from 2015 that won a bunch of awards. The main character, played by Tom Hardy, refers to himself as an ex-road warrior, and he describes that basically as a police officer. And so that obviously is the name of the image that you could see when you download Road Warriors. Clear reference, in my opinion, especially by looking at the cars. I mean, literally the title of one of the movies is The Road Warrior. It's just like, you can't just come up with that by coincidence. Like, it's just too much of a coincidence. I don't want to put too much stock in it though, because I think they might just be naming this image like for fun. Like, oh yeah, remember that movie from the 80s? Yeah, let's call it that because they look similar. Like, I don't know how much they're being serious about this, and that will really play out in the show. But again, I have a really good theory. Stay tuned. Secondly, now if you look at the concept art, there's this nervous looking car on the right of Mater, his left, our right. He has this interesting attachment. It's not the gun or the spikes, but it's that antenna looking thing. And this could be like a side view mirror. Like, it looks kind of like a mirror almost, but like, how would he be able to see it unless it's just like weird? I mean, this is concept art, so again, take it with a grain of salt. But it reminded me of the thunder sticks in Fury Road, which are basically long poles. Like, they're almost like spears because they throw them with explosives on the end. So when you like throw it at a car, boom, it explodes. Now, they're shaped a little differently, as you can see from the pictures here. Like, all those things sticking up off the cars, like, those are the thunder sticks. Looks a little different from what we see in the concept art, but it could be a reference. Now, another possible crossover of the weapons is Mater's tow hook mace. So this one guy in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, so that was the third one with Mel Gibson, he wields a mace. Now, they're very different maces. Like, it's not the ball-shaped one, but they are both maces. And again, basically the idea here is that it's the apocalypse. You're running out of bullets. You're going to have to resort to stuff that lasts, like weapons that last. And then you have the plow on McQueen, and that's very similar to a lot of the vehicles in these movies. Like, they have plows in Mad Max Fury Road. I think the like rig that they're using, like, she drops it to like stir up a bunch of dust. I don't really know. Sometimes they use it, I think, to slow something down, like if they attach to it. But anyway, yeah, that's again exactly how it looks in the Mad Max movies. And then lastly here, there's like some similarity in the guns, but I really just see it's like how they're attached. Like, they're just mounted on the cars in a similar way. But I mean, how else would you mount them? I think so. I mean, that could be a coincidence, right? Now, the third and final point of similarity I have found are the headdresses. So of course, the Queen, as many are calling her here, is being carried in a very tribalistic way. And this, again, the movie Mad Max is very tribalistic. I mean, like I said, savages. They're all savages for the most part, not the good guys. And they're being carried, or she's being carried by what looks to be 4 VW bugs. She has this elaborate tiara with an array of feathers attached to it. But now, before we head over to the Mad Max side of things, I have to say, doesn't she look like Miss Victoria? So Miss Victoria was the chaperone of the Motorama girls in that Storyteller's book from like 2009. There you go. I think they look very close, especially with the color. But there's clearly some differences. Like, you guys don't have to say in the comments, well, yeah, I mean, sure, but she actually has different fenders and the hood looks different. Yes, I know, but I think they look pretty similar. I mean, that was really the first thing I thought of, right? For me, at least. Secondly, here now, well, going to the Mad Max side of things, in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, so again, that was the third one with Mel Gibson in the 80s, Tina Turner stars this one character, and while she doesn't wear a crown in the movie, she's a ruler of what's called Bartertown, and to me, her hair gives off the same aesthetic as this feather crown gives off, because it's like that really lighter colored hair, and the way like it's poofed up, it looks like feathers. Like I think she looks good, right? I'm not trying to be offensive. I just think it kind of looks the same. And you might say I'm stretching, but I'm gonna say it looks the same. Like, and you can also see in this screen cap with Tina Turner's character, the other men are wearing fur accessories and afro type headdresses, which kind of resemble what McQueen has on his roof here in the concept art. Like, you can't tell me like that there are some similarities in that. McQueen's look a little stiffer, like they don't look like fur, like they don't look like feathers, but come on, like, wow, like to me it's just like it's a complete just, hey, look at me. It's an on the nose reference, right? And then same deal with the nervous looking car and the straight faced guy in the back. They have some spiky type feathers as well. Now, I haven't addressed this monster truck character we see here, even though he is super fascinating and he definitely seems to be the second in command. Like, he seems calm, right? Whereas you have the straight faced guy, you have the nervous looking guy. I think this one is definitely the second in command. And some of the vehicles in the Mad Max movies are jacked up like this, are monster trucks essentially. But again, I don't want to stretch it that much. But in all fairness, there are a lot of on-the-nose similarities here that I think are just too coincidental to neglect. One thing, though, I couldn't figure out were the dots on Mater's side. In the original breakdown video, I said they look like the scars on Killmonger from Black Panther that he carves out whenever he kills someone. And I know, we're getting pretty morbid in this video, but hopefully it's just another decoration. And that leads into the speculation part of this video, where I'm going to try and predict how and why and where and what, and just all the questions about how this scene exists in the Cars on the Road series. So first, if those dots do indicate Mater's kill count, this obviously is a dream. Like, Mater's not going to be killing anyone. Now, you might be saying, well, he kind of did in Cars 2. We're not going to think about that. Cars 2, like, okay, we're just not thinking about Cars 2 espionage stuff. Like, I just don't think that's going to play into this post-apocalyptic scene. But rather, this is obviously a dream sequence or a simulation of some sort. And honestly, it is safe to say that, like, I think it's safe to assume that this really is reminiscent of the end credits of Cars 2, at least for me, where you see Mater and McQueen travel to other countries that they didn't in the movie. There's the Great Wall of China. They're going to Germany. Now, granted, they're like deleted scenes where they actually would have gone to those places in the movie, but they're interacting with those cultures. They're wearing like the Materhosen and all that stuff. And a lot of movies do this for fun in their credits. Again, crazy reference here, 22 Jump Street. They do that exact same thing in the end credits. And yeah, if you don't believe me, watch it. I mean, just be warned, it is kind of a wild movie, but it's the exact same thing, right? It just, instead of countries here, it's time periods. You have your Jurassic, prehistoric times, and then you have your post-apocalyptic, age of desolation times. The two ends of the spectrum. Now, the Bigfoot one could kind of serve as the intermediary, like right in the middle of these two, but in my opinion, this one is not a dream sequence. I'm just going to put it right out there. I don't think Bigfoot is a dream sequence, and so that's why it's going to warrant its own video. I think it falls out of like the sequence with Dinopark and Road Warriors, which clearly fit the bill here for this dream. Anyways, we're going to do a video on Bigfoot. There's some other clues with that forest scene that we'll talk about later. In essence, though, here's the theory, guys. Red alert, here's my theory. These two scenes, Dinopark and Road Warriors, probably occur at the beginning of the series. Maybe serving as a hook to the show, because they're just so flashy, they'll hook you immediately, especially the kids, where Mater and McQueen are doing some sort of fun promotional show or photo shoot, and maybe they're literally shooting a movie. But actually, here is what I truly believe is happening. It's a simple dream sequence that Mater has. He has this wild dream full of adventures with his best friend McQueen, and that inspires the road trip that him and McQueen eventually embark on. Let me go over that again. These extreme dreams inspire Mater to pursue similar adventures in real life, and that, my friends, is my best theory right there. To reiterate a third time, Mater dreams these two sequences and has a blast in his dreams, in his mind. He is dreaming this. He's going on insane adventures overnight with dino cars and Mad Max battles. And he wants to try and replicate a version of that, albeit on a much smaller and more realistic scale in real life. And thus, bam, Road Trip has been born. Tractor tipping just ain't doing it for him anymore. And there you guys have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I appreciate everyone who stuck around and watched this entire video. It is quite long, but again, like I said, there was a lot to talk about, and these videos take a long time to produce, so I really appreciate you guys sticking around for all 15.5 minutes. And we obviously just scratched the surface here, so let me know your ideas and thoughts below. I will reply to you, and I want to chat with you guys about, our predictions, bounce some ideas off of each other, and we'll obviously talk more about this stuff, especially this image in particular, in future videos. So stay tuned, and stay tuned for my other videos on the other two concept images. Thank you for watching. Bye now.